Hello there, everyone. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy. Thank you very much for lending me your time and your ear and listening to another game idea that will work out on the Wii U. And I know this one was an oddball choice, but I figured I'd run with it because it actually makes sense. And as Shadow Fox Infinite has said many times on Gamers at Large podcast, why aren't there really any board games taken from the physical environment and put on the Wii U? It could be done with a multitude of different board games, but I'm sticking with Monopoly for this particular video because Monopoly is like the biggest economy board game out there outside of politics. But that's something else to say for another time. I'm not even going to go there. I shouldn't have started that up anyway. But listen, seriously. And I know people are going to laugh at this because this is the last video for this series of 2015. Don't worry, I promise that the follow-up, which will be the first video of 2016 for this series, will be good. I promise you that. But just think about it as I'm gonna go through this, and I'm freely just pulling thoughts off the top of my head here. But you could take the gamepad and use it as your main board. Like, it'll be your board here, and on television you'd see your board, and as special little events happened, those things will pop up on the screen too. And now, here's the thing that would make this Monopoly very good. The first thing that would make it good. You would have classic Monopoly, Monopoly Here and Now, different other Monopoly boards like Star Wars Monopoly, Mario Monopoly. I know there's a Super Mario Monopoly. I remember there being one. The Legend of Zelda Monopoly. Maybe a Pac-Man Monopoly, Sonic the Hedgehog, Mega Man. They could do a variety of different boards and allow you to use these boards to play on. Now, for classic and Here and Now Monopoly, there would be, you guessed it, amiibos. But, these would be really cheap amiibo. Not like not like the high quality ones that come out for like games like Smash Brothers and the Mario Party 10 ones. No. No. Don't make any high quality amiibos. Make them actually the actual Monopoly pieces. And sell them in bundles so that they could be like maybe $20 for the whole thing. And have the game automatically come with one of them. Like, each game comes with a different one. So that everybody has a different piece. Like, whatever. I mean, maybe it might be cheaper for them to just make one mold for the box. I'm going overboard here. But, you've probably figured out where my thought process is. Yes, use the game pieces, use the amiibo game pieces to actually play the game. When it's your turn, you place your amiibo on the gamepad using, well, I have Wii Party U, but have the Monopoly game come with a stand just like this one, so that your Wii U gamepad will sit flat. And you can just set your amiibo down on the gamepad while you're playing. And damn it, where are my controllers? Where are my Wii remotes? I moved them because my kids kept playing with them. Here we go. You put your amiibo down on the gamepad, on the NFC reader, and then use whichever Wii remote you're holding. Gosh, I don't know why I was so stuck on that. You use that to roll or decide whether or not you're going to buy something or whether or not you're going to. Well, obviously the game would automatically charge rent. Somebody lands on your property and stuff like that. Whether or not you're going to buy hotels and stuff, all that can be done from the Wii remote being in your hand, while on the gamepad is the board, as well as on the TV screen. Like I said, the TV screen would have the board, and as your amiibo game pieces sitting there, which, I mean, honestly, I think I'm making this more complicated than it needs to be, but it would work. Um, you roll, you take your turn and all that, and when your turn is over, you pull your amiibo off. But you obviously let the game log where your position is on the game board before you move your amiibo, otherwise you lose your progress. You might stall out the game, which would be kind of bad. Um, but that's for classic and here and now. For like Super Mario Brothers, you'll be able to use any of the Mario themed amiibo, like Mario, Peach, Bowser, Luigi, Toad, um, maybe Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, because those characters they're not necessarily part of the Mario franchise anymore, but they all started together. Yoshi, obviously, uh, and for Legend of Zelda board, obviously Legend of Zelda characters. Now, but a Mega Man board, I mean, it would be nice to have it, but there's only one Mega Man amiibo. There's not like a bunch of different other characters from the Mega Man series that have amiibo, which kind of would suck. Heck, they could even do a Super Smash Brothers board, which would allow you to just use any of the Smash Brothers characters in amiibo that you have. I mean, not necessarily restricting characters to any particular game board. I don't mean to do that, but with these themes, you realize people would use these characters because of that theme. But you be able to utilize your whatever amiibo you have to play on any game board whatsoever. That way, Mega Man, even though he's kind of lonely with his series, he'd have a board that he can invite his Smash Brothers friends onto. No, I'm just messing around, but do that. Use your Wii remote. Use the motion to roll the dice whenever you have your turn. I should have said that. That's common sense though, but gotta say it just to make sure I say it. Could have like bidding wars, like a mini game bidding war where you're tapping like the A and B buttons on the Wii remote to outbid someone else for a property if no one bought it or something like that. Ugh. Obviously, you before you even get the game going, use the gamepad to set the rules of your game. Now everybody has different household Monopoly rules, but the game would automatically default to whatever the original rule set is. But I know in my family we like to give people a bonus for landing on free parking. I think a lot of people do that, but I know my family in particular, I think it's for classic Monopoly. It's like what I don't remember. I think it's like 100 or 200 for classic Monopoly as the base, and then whatever fines pile up, that's a part of that free parking money. Um, Damn, there's a lot of things to think about with rule sets for Monopoly because there's so many ways you can play this game. Here and Now obviously has the cards that you can swipe, though I wouldn't really want to give people cards. Well, I guess if they're like NFC cards that are packed in with the game, and each one is like a different color, like they are in Here and Now. Like you have like I think Here and Now, I think you have like what 6 colors. I think you have 6 different cards that you can put in the little reader, and it'll keep your score and all that stuff. Well, they could limit that to 4, but yeah, limit that to 4 because there's 4 controller positions, and then the gamepad is a controller port, basically a position itself. But yeah, that would work out. And you just set your card down when you. But no, that would require removing the amiibo. Never mind. I think that would be a fatal flaw. So no, never mind that. Never mind that move. But they could just put those things in the game digitally. That would work out better. Yeah, that will work much better. Rather than me talking about giving the physical card. Though that would be nice, but I wouldn't really need to do that. Because that would kind of defeat the purpose of the amiibo game pieces. So yeah, I'd scratch that one. They just have to add them in digitally to the game. Each player can I'd say each player could set their own profile to a me profile rather than setting it to utilize the amiibo to make the profiles, because that would probably cause a little bit of a problem. But any of the me fighter amiibo from Super Smash Brothers would actually just put your amiibo in as the game piece. Not your amiibo, your me in as the game piece. Your profile me is the game piece. I know people are following what I'm saying. I'm over explaining again. I'm trying not to do that. I'm thinking of something else. I mean, it's not really much else I can say other than hashing out the rules of Monopoly, and that would take forever to do. And I don't want to hold people up on that because that gets kind of boring just running through the rule sets. But you everybody should know at this point I'm pushing for, what I'm hinting at, not hinting at. What I'm pushing towards with this idea of the board game to the Wii U. Like it just makes sense. So I mean, there's a lot of the board games I could have done. Trouble, Battleship, like games like Don't Wake Daddy, stuff like all that stuff could be put on the Wii U as like a board game collection. Like what is it? Mousetrap is another one. I think all this stuff will work pretty well. Like you just have to literally take the game from the physical world, put it on a digital screen, and that's really it. In a digital world. I mean, gosh, I'm really flubbing up my words today. But yeah, I'm pretty much done. There's not much more I can go on with this. I mean, I'd really like need to talk like Shadow about what games he would think would work out really well. I know I probably named a couple of them, and we'd have to toss ideas back and forth. But yeah, that's really it at the moment. Thank you very much for listening. Keep your eyes and ears out for more of my stuff, and until the next time, enjoy your games. Peace out, and happy 2016. And hey, don't get too drunk tomorrow. Don't. It's just, don't, please. Don't.